need to be rich, but your girl got standards. Hey guys, it's Dory and Nicole, and I'm back with another video. If you are here for the first time, then hi, hello, welcome. How are you? I don't know what brought you here, but hopefully, the content will make you want to stay. I think I'm a pretty cool girl. I think the things that we will be discussing on this channel are pretty dope. So just a little background about me. I am a licensed real estate agent in the state of Pennsylvania. Today, I'm going to talk about my first year in real estate. I've been licensed, I think it's officially been a year. I started working with Keller Williams. That's the brokerage that I'm with currently. Last May, I believe it was like the beginning of May. So that's who I've been with for the year. It was a good year in my opinion. I did learn a lot this year. I had 2 transactions in total. One being my transaction. I bought my first house this year. Well, last year, 2021. But I did that and I had a rental client. So there were only 2 transactions, which to some people is like good because I know before I got licensed, I heard a lot of people who didn't have any transactions in their first year in real estate. There are some people who take off in their first year in real estate. So I would never try to equate your success in real estate with, or your first year of success in real estate with how many deals you closed or how many transactions you closed. Only because your first year, in my opinion, should really be all about learning the business, understanding the business, because it's so much. Like, I think a lot of people think that, you just get licensed and then you just start doing the damn thing. Like, unfortunately, that's not how it works. And a lot of people learn that. I had to learn that for myself. And I know a lot of people have learned that, throughout their journey, especially during the first year. It is hard, okay? It is hard. It is a struggle if you are not committed, if you are not prepared, and if you are not willing to do the work, then real estate is not going to work for you, baby, especially not in your first year. If you have a big sphere before you start real estate, then, of course, things might look a little different for you because you know a lot of people who know a lot of people, and it's probably easier for you to make connections and get leads. But if you are somebody like me who don't have a whole bunch of family or friends, then, once you get licensed, there aren't too many people you can reach out to automatically and say, hey, I'm licensed, you need to buy a house, you want to sell your house. Like, that's not going to happen if you don't know a lot of people. So it's really, in the first year, it's really all about putting yourself out there, building your brand, trying to figure out who you want to be in the real estate industry, because the real estate industry is huge and there are a lot of people in the industry, agents, brokers, all of this. It's a lot of people. So because the industry is so saturated, it's like you have to make sure, or you have to find a way to stand out, because if not, then people aren't going to want to do business with you, especially in your first year, because people know that you're just getting started and they don't necessarily trust that you know what you're doing. So in order to get clients your first year, like I said, unless you know a lot of people or have connections, you really have to work for it. Like I said, only 2 transactions. It was the hardest thing, trying to find leads, trying to, get people or find people who wanted to buy, people who wanted to sell. The one thing that I will say that I did notice is that a lot of the people that I worked with, that I'm still in the process of working with, were renters. And I think because of the market that we're in, a lot of people are scared to buy and they are more comfortable with renting right now, which is, not the end of the world. I would never try to turn anybody away from renting. I will say that a lot of agents do not want to work with renters, only because it can be a lot of work and it's not a big of a return as it is for if you're dealing with a seller or a buyer. So For newer agents, it's a lot easier to get rental clients because a lot of older agents who come across clients who are looking to rent pass off those clients as referrals to new agents. So that's how I got my first actual client, because my first client was myself, but my first actual client I got as a referral, and my client was actually moving from Chicago. So it was weird because we literally like only met in person one time. Our first meeting was, of course, through Zoom because he's over in Chicago and I'm all the way in Philly. And then after that, we set up a showing for 2 weeks later. That was the first time that I met him and the last time that I saw him. That transaction actually just closed. So technically, I didn't get a transaction until the end of my first year. So that's why I'm saying, like, you kind of can't base your success or how good you feel you did in your first year off of transactions, because I only had one transaction, but my first year was great. Like, granted, I didn't put as much into it as I would have liked. Like, if I was talking to a new agent starting out, I wouldn't tell them to do what I did because I also have a 9-to-5. So technically I'm doing real estate part-time, which a lot of agents do not like. They swear against it. It's all these rumors about if you're doing real estate part-time, then you shouldn't be doing real estate. You can't do real estate part-time, blah, 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 blah. I would say do not let anybody deter you from what you want to do, okay? I work my ass off. And so to me, if it's something that I want to do, I'm going to figure out how to do it, even if, things are hectic, my schedule is crazy, like whatever, I'm going to find the time to do what it is I want to do. So for me, it's like, okay, yeah, I have a 9-to-5, but we're gonna figure out how to make this work because this is what I want to be doing. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just quit my job today and start real estate because I only had 2 transactions my first year. I can't live off of 2 transactions. So for me, I would never advise a person who has a good job or who has a job that's helping them to remain stable. I would never advise them to quit and do real estate full time. I would tell them to do what's comfortable for them. If you have a nest egg set aside and you're like, okay, I planned this out, like I'm good for the next 6 months to a year, then okay, cool. That's your plan. You have a plan, so fine. But if you're not that person, like, don't let other real estate agents tell you you can't do this part-time, because you can. I'm telling you that you can do it part-time because I'm doing it part-time. I mean, it's a little stressful. I'm not going to lie. It gets hectic. My schedule gets crazy, but I'm doing it and I'm going to keep doing it until I'm comfortable enough to say, okay, well, so real estate has taken over my full-time salary and I'm okay with leaving. So that's my biggest tip, is do not let anybody deter you. If you know that this is what you want to do, or not just real estate, like anything in life, don't ever let anybody deter you from what you want to do. There will be so many naysayers and so many people who try to, and it's not even, I've learned that it's not even intentional. It's like a concern, like a genuine concern. But at the end of the day, like, if you let those thoughts of other people get into your mind, then you're never going to be able to accomplish what you want to accomplish, because you'll just be living in fear. Like, what if it don't happen? Yeah, there's a possibility that it won't happen. But if you set yourself up and you have a plan, then if things don't work out, you'll have something to fall back on. And so that's the biggest thing, is that you have to make sure that you're ready for this, because it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. Like, I don't care what nobody tell you. People get into real estate and, they make it look easy. But I promise you, it is not, okay? Like, we go through life trying to figure out what it is we want to do, who we want to be, what we want our career to be. At the end of the day, like, I think anybody would be lying if they didn't say that they wanted a career that was going to help them be financially stable and help them be financially free. Like, I don't need to be rich, but your girl got standards. So I need a job that's going to uphold and sustain these standards that I have, okay? That's just that. So yeah, okay, let me tell you about my transaction, which was the best transaction of my first year in real estate. So Before I got licensed, like I said, I got licensed in May of 2021. So I started looking seriously looking the end of 2020. Once I got my credit together and I had my money saved, I started looking. I had a real estate agent. She was okay, but not me. I'm kidding. She was good. I was looking at a lot of houses, and for me it just wasn't what I wanted. I knew what I wanted, or I thought I knew what I wanted. I had an idea of what I wanted, and none of the houses that I was seeing or that we were finding were what I wanted. So I decided to hold off. I was like, maybe this just isn't my time. We're going to stop looking for a while. I decided I'm going to get licensed in February. I passed the exam and got licensed in May. And once I got like all my, I want to say clearances, but I don't know if clearances is the right word. So once you pick a brokerage, well, I don't know if it's like this for every brokerage. Once I decided to work with Keller Williams, I had to get all of these clearances, passwords, just all of the stuff that you need to be able to access certain databases. Once I got licensed officially, I gained access to the MLS. I just so happened to be on the MLS looking, and I knew the area that I wanted to live in. Because I've always wanted to live in this area. So I just looked up the zip code and I found a few properties. I went to go see the properties, and I came to my property and just like fell in love. And then I get a call from the agent, like they want all offers by the next day at 12 p.m. So I'm like, oh, because I had no intention of like putting the offer in or anything. Like I had everything set up. I had a pre-approval. I had my money saved, all that stuff. So I was ready. I just didn't plan on, anything. So I was like, all right, let me just put an offer. It can't hurt. Like either the offer is going to get accepted and cool because I'm ready, or it's not going to get accepted and cool because I had no intention of buying anyway. So just my luck, I put in an offer, and the listing agent calls me the next day. And she's like, oh, well, you're the only person who didn't ask for a seller's assist, so we're just going to accept your offer. And so I was like, excuse me? Like, huh? Did you just say you want to accept my offer? Like, what? And because I was acting as my own agent, it was excitement, but then at the same time, it was fear because I'm like, okay, as the buyer, I'm great because my offer that I want on the house that I wanted has been accepted. But then at the same time, like as the agent, I'm like, oh shit, I don't know how to do nothing. Like I didn't even know how to write the offer. I had to have my coach walk me through step by step over the phone to write my offer. So I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like I don't know. I don't even know the next steps. Like I have no idea. So I called my coach. He walked me through everything. He's like, you got to do A, B, and C, blah, blah, blah. So basically, I learned through my transaction, which was like the best thing I could have ever asked for, because since it was my transaction, I was able to make mistakes and not have to explain myself to somebody. Like if I was working with an actual an actual client, like somebody else, it probably would have been an issue because I had to keep doing addendums. And then thank God the seller was like, okay, because some sellers would have been like, oh girl, you doing a lot. Like, no, we're gonna go to another offer because this is too much. But the listing agent was great. The seller was great. My coach was great. Like everybody was great. Like I had to I just had to figure things out. And it wasn't like I was thrown to the wolves because I had the support from my coach, which is the one good thing I will say about Keller Williams is like when you're first starting out, they give you all the support, like all the support you need, any kind of support. When I called my coach, it was like 10:30 at night. And I was like, look, I just got a call. They want all offers. Like, I need you to help me write this offer because I want this house. And he legit like called me and walked me through it at 10:30 at night. He walked me through it. I got my offer accepted, and going through it, it was a lot of back and forth and a lot of ups and downs. Like I had to learn about everything. I had to learn about inspections. I had to learn about mortgages and like the lender side of things and title for the property, appraisals. I had to learn all of that stuff, and the crazy part about it is I didn't have a lot of time, because when you close on, or when you put an offering on the house, like usually they want to close as soon as possible. And so when I originally put my offer in, we originally pushed the closing date out to 45 days, which is usually they want 30 days. 45 days we pushed it out to, because we knew, COVID was happening at the time. We were smack dab in the middle of COVID. And there was just a lot of things going on. A lot of things were backed up. So we wanted 45 days so it wouldn't be no issues. I wrote my offer June 26th, I think. And I didn't close on my house until September 17th. Like, that's how long the process took. It was a lot. But because, thank God, it was my transaction and I was the buyer, I was just able to kind of like make the mistakes, fix the mistakes, and move on, instead of having to like explain myself to a buyer and then be unsure about me and whatever. So I think for me, the good thing, like, I thank God every day that it worked out the way that it did, because I know so much now, because I just went through the process myself. So when I get those buyers who are like unsure or nervous or scared or whatever, it's like I can confidently be like, oh, we're going to get this done come hell or high water, because I was just you. So I get it. I get the fear. I get the frustration. I get the stress levels. Like, I get all of it because I was just there. But I also know, what to do, what not to do, and how to make it as easy as possible. So as long as you trust me as your agent, we can get it done. And so that's how I approached my career when I was looking for people. Like, it's all about being confident. That's what I've learned. Anybody can become a real estate agent. And the problem with that is people who don't want to take the time, people who aren't sincere, people who don't really love the business and they just more so want the money, they don't always they aren't always the best agents. Like, I've heard, before I became an agent, I heard so many different stories and complaints about real estate agents. It's only because agents don't take the time to learn the business. Like, you have to take the time to learn. You have to take the time to go to trainings and talk to people and get to know things, because I want to know 100% that I know what I'm talking about. Like, I never want to get a client that feels like, oh, she don't know what she talk about. So for me, in order to make other people comfortable and I know what I'm doing, I need to know these things. I got to make sure all my T's is crossed and all my I's is dotted. I know at the end of the day, this isn't just a job for me. Like, this is my career. This is what I want to do in the long run. Like, I want to create a business out of this. And so I have to establish that rapport. I got to establish that confidence and that know-how now, so that people can trust that I know what I'm talking about and that I know what I do. It's all about knowing the business. It's all about understanding. The training it's a lot. It's a lot of training, and it can be overwhelming, but you'll realize that the training is necessary, because without it, like, nothing. Like, first of all, once you get licensed, they give you access to all of this stuff. They give you access to the MLS. They give you a website. They give you access to store for your clients, and they have all your paperwork. You get so much stuff that it's like, how do you know what's what and where you're even supposed to start? You know what I mean? So, like, if you just out here trying to wing it on your own, oh, you're gonna have issues, because it's a lot. It's a lot that you have to know. And then a lot of this stuff is legal. Like, a lot of people don't realize real estate is legal. This is legal stuff. Like, you can go to jail. You can do real time for fucking up real estate. Point blank, period. Like, that just is what it is. It's serious business, and I feel like people don't take it seriously. And so if you're thinking about whether or not you want to get in the real estate industry, you have to understand that it's time and it's work. It's not something that's just going to happen overnight. It's not something that's just going to fall into your lap. It's not something that you can just like sit on your behind and just wing it. You cannot do, trust me, you cannot do that. You have to have a plan. You have to have a system. You have to know exactly what it is you want to do. You have to be accountable for yourself. It's a lot of work. You have to put in a lot of time. But if you're dedicated and if you know that this is what you want to do and you're willing to learn and willing to take the time, then you can be great at this. If that's what you want to do, then go for it. It's not going to be easy. You're not going to get no money from it, unfortunately. let me break that down, okay? Because I think that's another misconception with real estate is the whole money aspect. When you start out in real estate, you are making no money, baby, no money, okay? Like I said, unless you have a connection and you know a lot of people who are looking to buy or sell before you get licensed, or as soon as you get licensed, everybody and their mom trying to buy and sell a house. Kudos to you, okay? You looked up and you're Jesus's favorite. But for the rest of the normal world, you're not making any money when you start out in real estate. That's just the reality. Don't let nobody tell you no different, because that's what it is. You have to pay brokerage fees. You have to pay their startup costs to real estate, between paying for paying to actually get licensed. You have to pay for that. You have to pay to hang your license with the brokerage. You have to pay whatever brokerage fees your company has, and that's another important thing is choosing a brokerage, which I'll talk about in a second. But whatever brokerage fees you have to pay for those. You have to pay for access to the MLS. You have to pay for whatever association. There are monthly fees, there are quarterly fees, and there are annual fees that you have to pay as a real estate agent. And people don't talk about all of these fees. You have to pay for marketing and advertising, because like I said, nobody does these things for you. It's your business. So if you want business cards, you got to pay for that. If you want open house signs, you got to pay for that. For sale signs, you have to pay. Anything pertaining to your business, you have to pay for it. So when you go into real estate, you have to be prepared to dish out some money. It's not something that you can get started for free. You have to pay for the classes. The classes are a couple $100s per class. So you just have to be prepared to dish out some money. It is definitely not something that you could get started for free. Regardless of what anybody tries to tell you, you have to have some money to get started. There are some brokerages who charge less in startup fees and, whatever. But at the end of the day, you're going to be paying for some things. So you have to be prepared. Brokerages. I said I was going to talk about brokerages. So once you get licensed, it is up to you to pick a brokerage. Brokerages don't, well, that's not true. Brokerages will come looking for you. You will get scouted by some brokerages, but at the end of the day, the choice is yours. So the best thing for you to do is to kind of like go talk to some people. I would not join a brokerage based off of somebody else's opinion, because just because one person likes a brokerage doesn't mean you're going to like a brokerage. Everybody is different. It depends on your learning style. It depends on how you operate. It depends on what you're looking for in a brokerage. All of that stuff matters. And so that's why basically you're interviewing brokerages. So don't just go to the first brokerage and listen to what they're saying and the commission splits and all of that, and everything sounds good, so okay, boom, I'm gonna go with y'all. Like, no, absolutely not. I would say interview multiple brokerages, go talk to multiple brokerages so you can compare commission splits, requirements, training, costs. All of those things are important when you're looking for a brokerage. So I would never go with the first brokerage unless you have some type of affiliation with them, or you have family or something like that or you've worked with them before, something. But do not just go off of a whim and say, okay, I'm going to pick this brokerage, and not have like a legitimate reason for why you're picking this brokerage and what you think you could benefit from it. And then you also have to see what the brokerages want in a agent, because some brokerages are, I ain't gonna talk trash about nobody brokerage, but some brokerages just ain't it. No, for real. Like I'm not gonna put no names out there, but the one brokerage I went to meet with this lady, and she was like, if you plan on doing real estate part-time, then you just can't work here. Excuse me? Okay, then bye. Cause I'm not quitting my job unless you want to move me into your house and you gonna take care of me, man. Like, she was really trying to convince me to quit my job so I could work for her brokerage. Like, not unless who taking care of me? Because I take care of myself. So unless you gonna take care of me until I get this thing up and rolling, then no, this ain't the brokerage for me. So it's certain questions that you have to ask, certain things that you have to be sure of, things that fall in line with what you want. You got to make sure that brokerage is offering those things, because if they are not, you will be unhappy at the brokerage. That just is what it is. You'll get to a point where you no longer want to be at this brokerage because it was never a fit for you in the first place. So the best thing to do would be to check out multiple brokerages, really do your research, okay? Because that's how you will establish who you are in this business. And if you're not with a brokerage that's going to push you, a brokerage that's going to encourage you, and a brokerage that's going to make sure that you're out here working ethically and legally, then you will be in some trouble. Because like I said, this ain't no smooth, easy industry. The real estate industry is crazy. It's a dog eat dog world out here. Okay? You have to be prepared. You have to be ready. You have to know your stuff. And so if you are not with the good brokerage, you don't like your brokerage, they are not supporting you, you will not go far in this industry, okay? Period. So I don't want to talk y'all's ear off. I just wanted to give my take on the industry and what I've experienced my first year. I hope I didn't ramble on too long. And of course, if there's anything that I didn't get to, any questions that you all may have, anything you want to know that I didn't touch on, just drop a comment below. Let me know, and maybe I'll do another video with just like real estate tips. If you like this video, this is what I do. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, make sure you go ahead and give me a thumbs up so I will know to keep creating this content for you all. Anything you want me to talk about, anything you guys want to see or know, just drop a comment below. We can chit chat about it, and I will see you all on my next video. Okay. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next video. Mwah.